Hi, I'm Heather Monthy from the About the Tea and STEM podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Today's episode of the Educational Duct Tape Podcast is sponsored by GIF-A-Day. Well, it's not actually sponsored by GIF-A-Day because GIF-A-Day is made by me, and I didn't pay myself to put this into the podcast, so I guess I technically can't call it a sponsorship. However, I do want to tell you about GIF-A-Day. GIF-A-Day is a thing I do where I take the EDU GIFs that I'm known for sharing on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and on my website, and I create kind of like a packaged course about one specific topic or set of topics, and I send them out to people one GIF every day for a series of weekdays. So far, I've done GIF-A-Day, Google Sheets, Ninja Level 1, and I've done a Cohort 1 back in the spring of 2019, and Cohort 2 in the summer of 2019. I'm preparing to launch Cohort 3 here in January 2020, and registration is now open as of today, the day this episode launches at 11 a.m. So maybe it's not quite open by a couple hours, but most likely at the time that you're listening to it, it is open and available to you. You could learn more about it at jakemiller.net/GIF-A-Day or click the link in the show notes.
Welcome to a mini episode of the Educational Duct Tape Podcast. Mini episodes just like this one are released every other Wednesday and feature interviews with educators that were recorded live on location at a conference or event. Please subscribe to the show to make sure that you don't miss any of these episodes. And now, here's the host of the Educational Duct Tape Podcast, Jake Miller.
Duct Tapers, welcome in. Before we get into today's mini episode interview, I'd like to remind you to listen to full episodes of the podcast to hear longer interviews with my guests, my soapbox moments, and content from listeners just like you, the Duct Tapers. Also, those longer episodes give you the chance to earn a certificate of listening, laughing, and learning that you could turn in for professional development credits. Mini episodes like this one that you're listening to right now, however, are not eligible for those credits simply because they're so short. However, what they lack in certificates and episode length, they make up for in awesomeness. Speaking of that awesomeness, let's travel back in time to today's interview, which was recorded live and on location at a conference or event.
Today's guest.
Today, I am joined by no one. Today, actually, I'm joined by disaster. Today, I'm joined by frustrating technology. Today, I'm joined by ARG. No, I don't mean Charlie Brown. I mean, I am frustrated. I had a wonderful mini episode to share with you today with my buddy Missy Payton, who attended the first ever educational duct tape workshop a few weeks ago at Kent State University. We recorded an episode, an interview while we were there. It was phenomenal. She gave some really great reflection on her growth using technology in the classroom and the things that she was doing through that workshop. I sat down and listened to the episode a few days later. It was fantastic. I edited together with the intro and the outro, and everything was good. I opened the file today to prepare it to put out for tomorrow, the time you're listening to it, for everybody to hear it. And it said the file is missing. It's gone. The interview is gone. I am so frustrated, you guys. It was such a good chat with Missy, and I really was excited to share it with everybody. And I was so proud of the workshop itself, and I was so excited to share her reflections on it with you guys. And it's just gone. I'm so frustrated. And so I was at first going to put in one of the interviews that was going to be the interview for next week. And then I was like, you know what? No, I want to share about and reflect about what happened here, because this happens to all of us with technology, and it just comes with the territory. And even as technology gets better and better and better, things just happen sometimes, and there's nothing we could do to stop them from happening. We just need to admit to ourselves that we are doing our best, and some things are just out of our control, and we are all human, and it happens to all of us. And I want you to hear it from me too, because I know sometimes you look to other people and like, oh, it must be so easy for them. This would never happen for them. yeah, it happened. I guess maybe I should have backed up the file multiple times. I don't know what I could have done differently. So here I am admitting this struggle and that this happened and that I think it was pretty much out of my control and that life will go on and everything will be fine. It stinks that I don't have the episode that I really wanted to share with you today, but we're all going to be fine for it. And maybe, just like what happens in your classrooms when something goes wrong and you share with your kids about it, maybe we'll all be better for it. Maybe Missy and I will get a chance to sit back down and redo that conversation. It'll come out even better. Maybe you will all understand something different about yourself and your use of technology from me reflecting on this experience. Maybe I will learn to better safeguard the interview files on my computer when I record these and back them up in multiple places. Maybe we'll all grow from it. But you know what? Regardless of whether we grow from it or not, everything will be okay. But in the meantime, I just want to wallow in some self-pity about this because even though I know it's going to be okay, I was really counting on sharing this interview with you because I was really proud of how this workshop went. And I was just thinking this episode, this interview with Missy is my chance to showcase the success that the workshop was. And I was like, this is going to be great. As soon as I put this out there, other people are going to want to attend future workshops. This is going to be the perfect tool to promote these workshops. I am so excited for this. And then it just wasn't there. And man, that just sucks. Man, does that suck. And that happens in our classrooms too. You're like, this is the lesson that I need to really nail down this concept, to really help the kids understand this, to really help the kids grow in this area or whatever it might be, to really help the kids perform really well on their test or to help me perform really well in my observation or whatever it is. And sometimes the technology just gets us. And it stinks. I mean, it's so frustrating. It reminds me of Murphy's Law. We talk about Murphy's Law regularly. You're probably familiar with it. It's often said as anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And I did a little research on it, and that's not actually where people believe it really started as it wasn't as simple as anything that can go wrong will go wrong. It was more like anything that can go wrong will go wrong sooner or later. Like the odds are that if it's a possibility that's going to go wrong, at some point in time, it's going to happen. The law of large numbers, as you approach, an infinite amount of replications of doing something, sooner or later, that thing that's going to go wrong is going to go wrong. And so that's going to happen with our podcasts. I've done 34 episodes or whatever it is, and sooner or later, the file is going to disappear, and that's going to happen with our lessons. We're going to rock a whole bunch of technology integrations, and sooner or later, one's going to fall flat on its face. And that doesn't mean that we should stop trying because it's going to happen sooner or later, because if that had happened, I wouldn't have produced the other 34 podcasts that came before this one, and you wouldn't have had those dozens of or hundreds of awesome technology integrated lessons that happened in your class before the one that flopped. And it doesn't mean that a flop is necessarily a negative. There are positives to be gained from it. But I'm still frustrated. I'm going to wrap this up here. I hope you've enjoyed me wallowing in my self-pity and reflecting on it. But hopefully Missy and I will sit down and redo that conversation at some point in time. I will have another mini episode for you next Thursday, the day after Christmas, and the same thing the following week, the day after New Year's Day. I'll have another mini episode for you. And then after the new year, we'll get back to it with regular episodes. Tonight, the day this episode launches, is our last #EDU Duct Tape Twitter chat of 2019. I hope you will join us to talk about last week's episode with Dr. Sheldon Akins. And most importantly, I hope that you have a wonderful end to your December and end to your 2019. And I hope that you enjoy a break and time with your holidays and time with your friends and some rest and some relaxation and get ready to rock it in 2020. Can you guys believe it's going to be 2020? Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with these technical difficulties that cursed us today. And I hope you have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Educational Duct Tape Podcast. Please visit eduducttape.com to join the discussion, share possible topics, inquire about being a guest, or contact Jake. And remember, duct is spelled with a T, not a quack quack K.